Hey guys, this is Yubar Reingok, or Tyler, which is my real name. For those who, have watched my videos and, I may say my name every now and again. Now, for those of you who actually come and watch my videos, which aren't many right now, but thank you for coming and watching, you'll notice I just post gameplay video. Some are walkthroughs, some are playthroughs with my reactions, which I hope you enjoy. But I want this channel to really shine and start getting more people on watching. I was trying to copy the people who I love to watch, like Vanoss Gaming and H2O Delirious, and then put my spin on that sort of thing. But while I do like making those kinds of videos, I realize that I could and should be doing more, especially if I want to get people to start watching my videos, which leads me to what I'm doing now. I've decided to do game reviews and pre-reviews. For those who are lost on the pre-review bit, the basic idea is that I take the info we have on upcoming games, games that haven't been released yet, and I use that info to create my preview review of what we can expect to see and what we know, and then I give it a rating between 1 and 10 and talk about what I think. Now, I'm going to be as thorough as possible in these reviews, giving you information on the game itself, what we know, and just trying to inform you as best as we can with the limited information we have right now. Now, I will be using offensive language, and I may even rage and yell. It's kind of my thing. But you should also remember, this is just one person's perspective based on the info they currently have. Now, if this convinces you to buy or not to buy, as many YouTube reviewers can have influence over, that's up to you. I'm simply providing the info we have and making an estimated guess on what we can expect. So, this by no means that the game will be the same when it comes out. It may be better or worse on release. Let me give you two examples. Two good examples. For those who are fans of the Total War franchise, Rome 2 was far worse than what was advertised, trailered, hyped about. They were saying all this stuff about the game, saying that they had a 40% bigger budget on this game, and it would be the best of the Total War franchise. But on release, they fell so far that, quite frankly, if by some miracle they can recover the trust of their fan base, they'd be lucky to turn out another Total War game. I mean, they obviously never tested the game before releasing it. Never did any testing on the gameplay or the mechanics, and much of the content they had said or promised were nowhere to be found, and it played worse than most of its predecessors. I haven't even played this, but I've seen videos and I've listened to Angry Joe do a thing on this. And quite frankly, you can't fuck up like this without making some really conscious cuts, decisions that leads to cuts, and just trying to get out as fast as you can. And it's just, you can't. It almost seems physically possible. Physically impossible. But they fucking did it. Now, the other example, which is the complete opposite of this, was The Last of Us, the greatest game on the PS3 and currently on the PS4. If you remember, it got a lot of critics on it. The press being one of the biggest ones as far as the media, because if you remember, after the trailer was shown during E3, a lot of people were yelling about how violent this game was, how too realistic with the violence and everything, because the punching and the fighting, it just was too realistic and it was bad, and a lot. What will happen when the kids play it? Motherfucker, this is an M-rated game. First off, children shouldn't be playing this. Now, granted, anybody, I'm guessing maybe 15, I'll say. Let's go as low as 15 and up. Might be mature enough to handle this, you know? Especially at the 18 range. At 18, you're fucking mature enough. Under that 15, though, if you got your kids this game, you are just a terrible parent or person. Because if you got this for some kid and it was a kid's birthday and you're like, oh yeah, he'll love this game, it looked cool. You're an idiot. And if that's your kid you're buying this game for, you're a fucking terrible parent. You should go ahead and set them up for adoption. And I mean that. No. When you buy an 8-year-old Grand Theft Auto, okay, with the sex and the nigga and all that shit getting said, there should be licenses for this kind of shit so we can take them away. You need to have your parenting license taken the fuck away. I mean that. Okay, sorry, got off topic. But, yeah, besides the press, the internet, the critics on all the forums and stuff, were saying the concept and the ideas weren't sound. That they were just going to fall apart. And the people who were doing that, doing the forums and the blogs, they were saying this thing was going to fail just based on that, not the violence. Most of that was coming from the Xbox fanboys and the fangirls, but it got some hard hits during development because of that. Not just the press, but the shit on the internet. Because, you know, some of us hate the news and don't watch it because Bill O'Reilly's an extremist Republican, and he says loaded questions all the time whenever he interviews a Democrat to get them to say what he wants and make them look bad. Now, when it came out, the reviews that came in, it turned out it was so well done, so well acted and well written and well voiced and fucking perfect. Within the first 20 minutes of playing this game, you are emotionally involved. You have an emotional attachment to the characters. How many video games can you say you become emotionally attached and involved with the characters and what happens to them? You can't say that about any first-person shooter. You can't. RPGs, yes, but this, just to a whole nother level, man. Now, like I said, most of the critics were Xbox fans and, you know, the fucking press who were trying to blow it out of proportion. And it would seem they wanted to bring down the fucking game before it was even out. But that completely fucking failed, obviously. Now, these are two prime examples of what can happen after launch. Now, I may eventually do a review on games after they come out, especially if I like the game or I went through the trouble of actually buying it. You know, depends. Especially if I turn out to like the game, I will do a review on it. I feel safe in saying that because it deserves it. Because I did a pre-review on it, I should go ahead and do a review and let everybody know just what I found out after it was released and how much I liked it or didn't like it. Like Destiny. Like fucking Destiny. But, as much as I'd like to do some of these, I may leave some to, Angry Joe. And if you don't know who Angry Joe is, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description down below. He does a lot of, game videos. Some of him playing with other Joe, or, you know, from his live streams. But some of his best and probably most well known are his review videos. Joe is the one who convinced me, who was trying to deny the obvious as much as possible, to take back and stop playing Destiny. That fucking game was a lie we were sold and fucking bought. All the videos and everything we were promised and the content that we were shown, I should fucking suspected something when I heard it was going to be a 10-year long project. We got sold fucking Halo with a paint job and only a tenth of the content promised. At least fucking Halo had a plot line that made sense and characters worth remembering. Like fucking Master Chief, one of the most iconic first-person shooting characters. And the fucking Arbiter who was a badass with a sword. A fucking light sword. Destiny did nothing. It didn't explain a fucking thing about any of it. About its plot or the time or anything. It's just a piece of shit. Maybe, and this is a very strong maybe, in a year, if by some fucking miracle, the game is even still around making its DLCs and free updates and shit, I may pick it up. But I estimate that within the next 6 months, the servers will be completely dead, and Bungie will suffer a huge loss, not only financially, but it will lose a lot of respect. And they deserve it after this. They really would. Okay. Done. I am done raging about Destiny. I'm over it. So let's get on with the pre-review. Today I've decided to pre-review Battlefield Hardline. Now, for those out of the loop, this is the upcoming Battlefield title that has been worked on by both DICE and the people who made Dead Space, Visceral Games. Now, for those who don't know who Visceral Games or Dead Space is, go look up the Your Mother Hates This Game commercial. You'll get it then. You'll remember those. They were aired a lot. Now, right off the bat, I wonder how the fuck this is supposed to work. You have the big map, military game makers, and the close quarter alien horror game makers making a game together. Okay then. Well, this breeds concerns right off the bat. Now, I didn't play the beta test mostly because of how furious I was with DICE after their E3 debut of Hardline. They finally explained why Battlefield 4 was the way it was. It finally made sense why Battlefield 4 was known as Broken Field. I mean, if you watch Pig Mooney, he has a hilarious spin on all the fails. He does this bonus round thing that shows all these funny clips or moments from it. And it's just hilarious. You see, the fucking LAV getting stuck on a barrier, and then as soon as it's freed, it just launches into the fucking air and explodes. That kind of shit. Or the boat suddenly just coming up out of the waves, and just all of a sudden it's flying in midair. It's funny to watch, but when you play and that shit happens to you, it ain't so funny. I'll give you some of my best examples, okay? In this siege of Shanghai, a chopper packed full of players drops down the roof I'm on. I mean, holy shit, I'm the only one up there. Bit of an overkill, huh? But when I respawn, this guy comes flying around the corner and shoots me. It appears as though he was on top of the AC, and jumping and shooting is no issue in this. Aim stays perfect. In real life, if you jumping up and down and shooting, your accuracy would suffer terribly and you would not stay on target. Battlefield 3, this seemed true at least, as most players trying to jump and shoot would easily be mowed down within seconds, while they never hit a single target in a group of them, and I've seen this multiple fucking times. In this Lancang Dam, a sniper gets me from a very long distance. If you noticed, a player was firing right at him from below, but it would seem he wasn't getting hit. Fast forward to me trying to pick him off. If you notice, most of my shots seem to be hitting right for him. In fact, it looks as though they should be hitting. Doesn't though. I figure it must be the range, so I then tried to go from 0 range of 1,000 to 500 and see if I can't get the bullet to drop on him from overhead. You'll understand why I tried this in a second. I eventually leave my sniper spot, fed up with this, and decide to swim and hunt my way over to where he is and get up close to kill him. After managing to avoid danger and a tank, I make my way up this seemingly unclimbable hill, and after being out of the map area for several seconds, I am in the spot he's sniping from. I get my revenge, and then look. Wait for it. There. I'm on thin fucking air. I'm seemingly floating. There's nothing under me. I'm jumping on nothing. Watch how far I had to go down. That must have been 10 feet out. And look here. Again. Same fucking thing. I can knife it too. Look, there's solid ground there. On the other side, there's apparently the correct thing where you drop right down when you walk off the concrete. But did you see that? I was in midair. Nothing below me. This should not be fucking possible. That's why I couldn't hit him. The damn thing was a barrier that literally protected him from being shot. But he could shoot down from where he was. This is the absolute best example I can give of why Battlefield is still broken. For fuck's sake, this has been here since day one. You know how many fucking videos are on YouTube showing this? A lot. And DICE still hasn't fixed it. That's because DICE has put more time and effort into making Hardline the game that was the hallmark of their franchise than the actual game that already was. They neglected so fucking much, and it literally feels as though they put no effort into fixing these problems. They're still apparent today. Moving past this, we go into DICE's new baby, Battlefield Hardline. This game takes a turn from the large-scale battlefields we know and love to the heart of thriving cities to play as cops and robbers. Now, not much has really been said on the main story itself, as most of the focus has been on the multiplayer, the game's main selling feature. You'll be trading in tanks for armored SUVs with 50 cals as robbers or SWAT vans as cops. Seems a little one-sided. One has a heavy machine gun, the other just carries 10 of you. And given Battlefield's history of players wasting vehicles just to get where they want faster, and then the enemy stealing them to use even better or demolish you, this seems like a rather foolish decision. Now, I'm sure they've got vehicles for both sides that have mounted weapons, but I haven't really seen them yet. Unfortunate. But I'm sure they're there. No more jets, by the way, as you don't have jets bombing people in Chicago. You have choppers, and most of those only carry players as well, it would seem. I have heard that the UH-60, a transport chopper with two machine guns on either, or a machine gun on either side, I should say, is in there, but I haven't really seen it yet. So I can't confirm it, but from what I've read, it's going to be in the game, at least at release. Okay? Now, based on reviews from the beta, things were rather meh. This suggests that those of us who are hardcore Battlefield fans are dissatisfied without the ability to pilot a tank and knock down houses like a stack of fucking dominoes. The hallmark of Battlefield was never just the huge maps, but the vehicles. From attack choppers to tanks, everyone had a favorite they liked to go in. I loved being the gunner in the attack chopper. I still do. Especially when I have a badass pilot just fucking sweeping around, knocking these fucking people out. It's just beautiful. Even then, one of Battlefield's favorite maps, Operation Metro, didn't even have vehicles to use in it. It was just a stand and defend or try and push map on Conquest, all for the middle point. And I'm about to get off topic here because I just thought of something that pissed me off. But this too is ruined now, by the way, thanks in large part to the worst weapon introduced to Battlefield. More so than the USAS-12 with frag rounds in Battlefield 3. The XM25. This thing shoots straight for fucking ever. It fires rapidly, and since it's a support weapon, combined with an ammo pack, it has unlimited ammo. So now, battles in close quarters don't rely on skill. Just equip an XM25, and you can dominate everyone, or hold them off forever, and get easy kills when they try and rush past. I honestly hate players with this. Causes me immediate rage. And you can tell that they're a complete fucking noob because it's the only goddamn weapon they'll use. Me and a group of players in a Shanghai, a fucking siege of Shanghai, not close quarters, an open fucking map with choppers. We're trying to take an elevator up to get on top of a roof to drop down on the enemy on point D. And if you don't know, in Shanghai on Conquest, point D is near the Russian start point, which is what we were playing as. So we were trying to get our own point back. And it was going to be beautiful. Just drop right down on the roof, hold that spot, kill whoever tries to come up, and shoot at anybody down below. Beautiful. We never made it out of the elevator. In a building a little higher than ours, just sitting there, a support fired XM25s at the elevator door and killed us all. He was quite a distance away, but the rounds never drop, so it's always a straight fucking shot. And he just killed all of us. He was camping the spot, shooting everyone who was trying to reach the top of the buildings, on the roofs. He was shooting anybody on the rooftops who wasn't part of his team. Good Lord, if you ever read the forums, and if you ever read those things, you'd find this gun has many players passionately wanting it not nerfed, but removed from the game entirely. I wholeheartedly agree with them. I'd rather have the USAS-12 than this. And we still fucking do. It's a special weapon drop that you can pick up on the Russian side of most maps. And even then, it only has limited ammo, and you can't refresh the ammo. It has to spawn again, so it can't be spammed like it was before. Lord knows that if they make the XM25 available in Hardline, it better have either been completely redone or really, really nerfed. Most likely, both. Now, the weapons and gadgets we've seen so far seem correct with the theme of what Hardline is about. Tasers for cops, Uzis for robbers. Zip lines to get from one building to the next have been a rather interesting form of getting around the map. It seems they really thought out about the ingenuity in some of the weapons and gadgets that can be used by robbers today, while others seem to have been taken straight out of a Hollywood movie. Not a bad thing entirely. It would just be a little hard to explain how we got the zip line from Mr. and Mrs. Smith to cruise through the map. Just from one building to the next. Another question on this would be, which I've been trying to find, is can multiple players use the same zipline? What I mean by this is, can only one player holding it, the gadget, use it and then it disappears? Or would it stay and be able to be used by other players until someone cuts the line? From what I've seen from gameplay videos, it appears the latter holds true. So far. And I don't honestly expect that to change. It seems to be stupid to just have this one guy is able to use zip lines when the whole team should be able to. Now, what about the weapons and gadgets for cops? The zip line can be used for everyone. But, we've got tasers, yeah, but what else? Well, you've got cuffs. You can arrest people. And then apparently, once you've done that, you can kill them. There's a bit of a moral misunderstanding here because you're a cop. Arresting them should automatically, send them to respawn or something unless someone gets over to them in time and, uncuffs them or something. But instead you then kill them I'm confused on this. I'm sure the question or issue will be resolved at launch, or at least I hope it will. It's a confusing point, honestly. But everything else is more class related. Like the frickin' shield. Anyone who got the shield back in Battlefield 4 knows this thing's a piece of shit. Especially because it's hard to find any decent use for it in any situation, even close range. Close quarter map. It would be one thing if you could melee kill with it, but it would take 20 hits before you could kill someone at full health. Not to mention, explosives make it basically useless, and anyone with decent aim can just put a single round through the glass piece you use to see through it and get a headshot and kill the player holding the shield. Even standing, the player's feet would be showing, and they could just shoot those. Now, looking at real life, riot shields are different. They're made from a bulletproof plastic and are see-through, and some are rather large, made to defend a person in their entirety, while others are smaller. And as far as the ones I've seen in videos, are there really going to be any players who will use them? I think the answer here is also probably a no. So, what else do players have to use? The vehicles are only really useful as transports. Besides the standard gadgets we're already familiar with from Battlefield, like the first aid pack, the ammo pack, the RPG. The melee, though, are what you would expect. Bats and knives for robbers, and batons and nightsticks for cops. And these are more prominent this time because they actually have more meaning and more to do with the actual gameplay. Instead, knife was sort of a last resort, or just when you sneak up on a son of a bitch. This now has more feeling because you can actually charge head on instead of being counterattacked. You can actually do damage. Now, the vehicles are only really useful as transports. So you can shoot from them, yes, from any of the windows, but still kind of iffy on that. Now, there are some gadgets that all classes can use, like gas masks to protect from tear gas and tear grenades, the grappling hook and the zip line to help you get up and around buildings. But it seems more like the names and roles have changed than anything else. Operator replaces the medic and assault class, but according to the wiki that I've been reading and various other sources, they don't have access to grenade launchers anymore and are mostly just medics for healing and reviving players. They still have access to assault rifles, and yes, these weapons can do good damage to just the regular vehicles. I mean, you're not driving an armored Jeep, you're driving a fucking car, a regular car most of the time. So these can be penetrated and they can be damaged by regular weapon fire now, which would be realistic. They still have access to assault rifles, but from what I've read, it seems as though they also have access to carbines, which kind of threw me off, because carbines was its own separate thing before. So, like I said, I'm not really sure what they're doing here. The secondary for them is a 38 snub-nose, deadly at close range. They do have one unique handy gadget new to this, and that is called the Survivalist, which allows them to revive themselves, but only after being downed by explosives, not weapon fire. Weapon fire still kills, but if they get downed by explosives, they can use this to get right back up. Now, mechanics, which replace engineers, will get their repair tool, as well now as the M320 grenade launcher. They have the grenade launcher now. They can also use sabotage, which booby traps vehicles and destroys them as soon as they're driven away by the enemy. Very useful, but it can be removed by the repair tool if someone spots it. Then there's the tracking dart, which can be shot onto vehicles, making it easier to lock on with, locking on, anti-tank, whatever you're using. And, let's see. Like its BF4 or Battlefield 4 predecessor, they can also use submachine guns as their primary, everything from the Uzi to the UMP-45. Next is the Professional, which I personally love the name they give to the new recon class. It fits perfectly. Like its brother, players will be using sniper rifles mainly. However, little is known about their gadgets, as they haven't really been discussed anywhere that I've looked. But it's safe to assume they will still have the ability to set spawn points, and they'll probably have something like the tugs as well to sense enemies. Lastly is the Enforcer, the new support of the Hardline universe. They will have access to the ammo box again, the ballistic shield, and a breaching charge, which is basically C4. They still have access to their light machine guns, so don't you support types worry. Unlike previous Battlefield installments, it's seeming as though pistols as well as weapon classes are job specific. The primaries aren't different so much, but the pistols are. Hopefully this will change so that all kits have access to all pistols on release. The other huge major change is that all weapons and gadgets are available at the start of the game. And now for the catch. They're expensive. What do I mean? Instead of leveling up kits to unlock weapons and gadgets like you used to, you can purchase them with money earned in-game. As of right now, it's only during the game that you can get these and own them. But hopefully it will be permanent on release, in which case you just get money for what you're doing, and then outside of the game you go buy it, and then you have it permanently, which would make more sense, and I hope that's what they do. There's also been changes to the perk unlock system, which was the if you've played Battlefield 4, was basically, Battlefield 3 you just had perks that you unlocked as you leveled up, and then you'd equip them, and they were always there. Whereas the system in Battlefield 4 was you had a perk line. You had 4 perks, and as you unlocked it, as you got experience for helping your squad, whether it was with a kill or they spawned on you or your equipment helped them somehow, that would up your perks more and more. It would start with the one basic thing, and then you would unlock the next tier, and so on and so forth, and you would be able to use all 4. In Hardline, the new reputation statistic you earn in each match for kills, captures, and etc. allows you to earn a bonus perk mid-battle, which lasts for that game only, MOBA style, kind of like Battlefield 4 right now. I personally always hated this. I like the Battlefield 3 one a lot more. Plus, it's too close to the Call of Duty one, with the whole earn enough points or kills and you can use this thing. I hated that system because as soon as you died, you had to restart all fucking over. The whole concept was bullshit, and I hope that's not where this is leading. God forbid, because then I might have to stop playing Battlefield, and I don't want to stop playing it. You will also have 150 levels to attain in this, unlike Battlefield 4, which had 120 at release, and then 130 after Dragon's Teeth DLC. Not a big thing here, yes, and quite frankly, with how it sounds like they're doing the attainment system of weapons and gadgets, it seems rather useless, actually. But now we can talk about the game modes being introduced, which I actually did want to talk about a lot, because after I read them, I got excited. We know of 4 currently. Heist, the most popular one, and one we've seen a lot in videos, in which criminals must break packages of money from armored trucks by blowing the doors off, then moving the packages to an extraction point. The police have to stop them, and if the criminals manage to escape by bringing all the money to the extraction point, they win. This seems a lot of fun. And actually, the E3 trailer showed this. This was showcased on the E3 trailer. Was this mode? It looks interesting and it looks like a lot of fun. Then there is Blood Money, in which both factions must retrieve money from an open crate in the center of the map, and then move it back to their respective side's armored truck. Players can also steal money from the opposing team's truck. The team that first deposits $5 million worth of money into their truck, or the team with the most money under the time limit, wins. Now, this has both good and bad things. Now, if you've played Battlefield 4, spawn points don't mean shit. Used to be when you had a spawn point, the team could only go so far, and then you'd have this little spawn point that you'd be safe behind unless somebody was in a chopper or something, or was using a mortar. Now, they don't fucking matter. Okay? Because I've had players that just come up to the spawn point and they just fucking rape you as soon as you spawn. It's fucking bullshit. Fucking DICE! God damn it. I'm angry again. But therein lies the problem with this mode. Okay? Blood Money. Is if they can just walk up to the truck, how far away is it from the fucking spawn? Because then they can just fucking camp the spawn. Which is bullshit. So this has pros and cons to it. And you can see what the big con of it is. Next is Hotwire mode, which does sound like a lot of fun. I wouldn't be the driver, I'd be the guy shooting at the cops behind us. A Hotwire mode is where police chase down criminals at high speeds across expansive environments. Now, I can only assume that the objective here is to take the car or the vehicle or whatever it is you're carrying in the vehicle across the map to another point, and the cops have to stop you from getting there. This is both good and bad because, well, if you're a shitty driver, yeah, this is going to be a short run. If you're not, though, this could be some fun shit. This is why I would see myself not as the driver, but as the gunner, because I can't drive for shit. And if you ever watch any of my videos of Battlefield or something like that, you'll see why. I can't drive. Okay, finally, there is Rescue, which sounds the most fun to an old Counter-Strike player like me, where you have to go and, well, let me explain the mode. In Rescue, you go as either the police or the robbers, and you must try and save hostages from the criminals. If you're the criminal, you have to defend them. Now, there was a similar mode in Counter-Strike where you were the SAS or the whatever, and you had to go into a house or something like that, and if you killed all the criminals, then you won, or if you extracted all the hostages, you won. And the criminals could kill all but one, but that would cost them a lot. Now, this also sort of sounds like Tom Clancy's new game, Rainbow Six Siege. Maybe that's just me, though. As for the main plot of the story, very little is known. What we do know, though, is that the plot revolves around Nick Mendoza, a SWAT officer who was involved in criminal activity. For the first time in Battlefield Hardline, players can complete their objectives in various different ways and paths, either silently or violently. A new gadget called the police scanner can be used to find enemies, important objects and evidence, and mark them. So, after all that, what do I think? Well, I was furious with how this game caused Battlefield 4 to become Broken Field. But after researching it and reading up on it and watching all these videos, I'm not sure. I wouldn't pre-order this for any reason, but will most likely wait until a month after the release to see what the video game videos show. Besides, we all know there will be problems at launch again. It's a given. If it looks good and player reviews on it are good, I may go pick it up. Probably will, depending on how well it does. But right now, There's a lot of speculation that it will be DOA, or Dead on Arrival, meaning that it won't really sell well and will do poorly. Now, I do partially believe this, as everything suggested says the same, especially player reviews. Many of these I've seen have players stating that after they played the beta, they withdrew their pre-orders, which is bad for DICE and Visceral, and should say something. What's worse is that they've already harbored trust issues with hardcore Battlefield fans after their failure to give Battlefield 4 the attention it deserves still. So things do not look good for Hardline right out of the gate. Now, remember, this is pre-release. We don't have the full picture, but it's not good right now as it stands. This game does have potential, and if anyone could do it, it would be DICE. But there is plenty of room to fuck up as well. So until it's out, we won't know for sure, but everything prior suggests nothing good. I do personally hope that turns out fantastic. But at the same time, however, I also hope it fails. Let me explain. This was mostly because it stole the necessary concentration from Battlefield 4, which I was looking forward to and even pre-ordered, even though it took me until June this year to get a PS4. So I'm holding off on this. But as it stands, I give Battlefield Hardline a 6 out of 10. It has a lot of promise, but we won't know how it does till after release. If I do end up purchasing it, I'll do another review for it then. But looking at it now, the game modes are the biggest selling point of this game. It introduces something new and fresh, which many hardcore Battlefield fans will love, me included. In fact, all 4 of the ones we know about would honestly make me go pre-order, but the rest of it, such as the unlock system, is what keeps me away for now. So until it comes out and we get some good feedback, I'm holding judgment on whether or not this is worth the price tag. Thank you all so much for watching this. I hope this helped you understand this game a little better and give you a heads up on what to expect. If you like this video, please leave a like and share this on YouTube and Twitter, and feel free to leave a comment. If you want to see what else I do, click the link in the descriptions to check out my channel and click the big red subscribe button. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you out in the gaming world. Bye now!